This must be the place. Professor Oubier's house.
Looks pretty creepy. I'd been away from Paris and hadn't seen Nico for nearly 6 months. I wanted to celebrate our reunion, but she had other plans. An appointment with an archaeologist. Something to do with a Mayan stone she came across while researching the story. The guy who answered the door didn't look much like an archaeologist to me. I had a bad feeling about this. After an encounter with a pair of Central American Indians, I'd been knocked out and my girlfriend abducted. They failed in their attempts to kill me, and after carefully piecing together the clues, I eventually ended up on a desolate dockside in Marseille, where I hoped I would find Nico. A chain-link fence barred the entrance to the docks.
What's the big idea?
I don't know. The dog went berserk for no apparent reason.
He's trained to do that. The idea is to deter any would-be intruder.
Oh, I get it. Okay, I'm sorry.
That's okay. Just remember, he's a trained attack dog. A killer.
It was a mean-looking guard dog. Here, boy. It was a tall wire mesh fence. It It was the door which led to the docks on the other side of the fence. A shabby old overcoat hung from a peg near the door. The watchman was big and bulgy, like a sack of potatoes. His flushed and bloated face wore a sleepy, amiable expression. Something was bubbling in the watchman's saucepan. It was an old iron stove, which heated the hut and the watchman's dinner. It was a large bucket filled with coal. It was a packet with a picture of a boxer dog on the front. It was the trapdoor which the slob used as a waste chute, straight into the sea.
Hi there.
Hey! How long you been watching me?
I wasn't watching.
You were looking.
Oh, yeah, but I wasn't watching.
What'd you want? Do you know what time it is?
No, I don't wear a watch. As my dad used to say, I'm not into time, man.
Well, you're too early.
What time is it anyhow?
The big hand's on the floor. Why aren't you in bed?
I can explain everything.
Never mind, I ain't that interested.
What time do you open the gates?
7.
Do you mind if I hang out here till the docks open?
Please yourself, but you'll have a long wait. It's Sunday, and tomorrow is the start of the national holiday. Everything is closed for a month.
Well, wouldn't you just know it?
Ever heard of Condor Transglobal?
Sure, they have a warehouse here.
Well, could I take a look?
Not until after the holidays. Come back in a month.
I have to make a delivery to Condor Transglobal.
Where's your rig?
About half a mile down the road.
And you walked here? Jeez, are you some kind of nut?
Nah, it was easy. I just put one foot in front of the other. Are you gonna let me make my delivery?
Not without the paperwork. You get the papers, you make your delivery, and I get a fat backhander.
I was getting nowhere with the story about being a trucker. Do you know what kind of business Condor's involved in?
I'm paid to guard the gate. Their business is none of mine.
Does that dog belong to you?
Nah, he comes with the job. I just feed him every now and then.
More then than now, I'd say. What's the dog's name?
20.
It's unusual for a dog.
It's his registration number. Security dog number 20.
Does number 20 have rabies?
Nah, just a bad attitude. Like I said, he's a trained attack dog. They took him when he was a puppy and messed with his head to make him the way he is.
I'm looking for a young woman.
At the docks? What kind of woman do you have in mind?
You don't understand. It's my girlfriend I'm trying to find.
Well, I ain't seen her, and you should tell her. The docks ain't no place for a young lady. They're dirty and they're dangerous.
I'm certain my girlfriend was brought here when she was abducted.
What? Your girl was kidnapped?
Yeah, struck down by an Indian with a poisoned dart.
A poison dart, huh?
I could tell he didn't believe me. This is the dart that the Indian shot at my girlfriend.
Sheesh! That's pretty weird, but I don't see why you'd expect to find her here.
Have you ever heard of Professor Oubier?
Me? None of my friends are professors or anything like that.
Take a look at this letter.
That's sick. Did you write it?
Oh, no. No, it's a letter from my girlfriend's admirer.
If I was you, I'd smack him in the mouth.
Well, that's not my style, but thanks for the advice. What's cooking?
Beans. You know a man can live on nothing but beans.
Not this one. Don't you ever get tired of eating beans?
Sure I do. What do you take me for?
And what's the alternative?
Peas. I can't eat them too often, though. They play hell with my digestion.
Have you ever considered changing your diet?
What's wrong with beans and beer?
You need me to tell you? You're pumping out enough methane here to fill a dirigible. I have these very exotic panties.
Take them away, you pervert!
I gotta go now, but I'll be back.
Can't wait.
The chimney was a metal pipe with a conical hat on top to stop the rain getting in. Those steps led to the pier beneath the hut. A short stick of wood floated near the edge of the landing stage. The stick had a hook on one end. I figured it was a boat hook for hooking boats. Bobbing up and down in the oily water was the watchman's discarded beer bottle. I just knew that boat hook would be useful for something. As for the bottle, even if I couldn't find a use for it, I'd cleaned up the dock a little. The guard dog was staring at me with a hungry look in his eyes. Hey, 20. The platform was held up by a hinged bracket. I couldn't figure out what it was for. Maybe it was part of a structure which no longer existed. The opening in the floor led up into the watchman's hut. It was a box of blank forms.
Excuse me.
Huh? Who's there?
It was the poisoned dart which had stung Nika. I'd never known anything keep her quiet so effectively. It was that itsy-bitsy tequila worm. I really must remember to take it out of my pants before I send them to the laundry. It was the label I'd found in the Glee's gallery. It was Nico's lipstick. It wasn't my color, and it reminded me of clowns. It was the newspaper clipping referring to the imminent eclipse. It was the letter to Nico from that creep Lavano. Sickening. It was Ubier's bank statement. It was a pair of red, lace-trimmed panties decorated with a large black satin heart. It was a short wooden-handled boat hook. It was the beer bottle that slob of a watchman had dumped in the sea, now half full of filthy dock water. The label read, "Surge, the beer that clears your head." The steps led back to the dockside. The chimney was a metal pipe with a conical hat on top to stop the rain getting in. Ouch! That's hot. The bottle was half filled with water. Maybe it would cool the cone down enough to touch it. The chimney was a metal pipe which disappeared into the wall. On top of the pipe rested a cone. Ouch! That's hot. The bottle was half filled with water. Maybe it would cool the cone down enough to touch it. Now I could see into the pipe which formed the chimney. The chimney was a metal pipe which... The bottle had blocked the chimney. And the hut was filling up with smoke.
Is something wrong?
Something wrong? I nearly choked to death.
Why don't you get some air? Take a long walk along the pier. I could stay here and watch the gate.
Oh, no. You'd be through that gate as soon as my back was turned.
With that crazy dog around? Someday I hope to have kids.
A shabby old overcoat hung from a peg near the door. I wouldn't have considered wearing it if it had been the last coat on Earth. It was a box of blank forms. The box contained nothing but blank forms. The saucepan was 3/4 full of baked beans. baked beans in ketchup. It was an old iron stove, which heated the hut and the watchman's dinner. Yow! Stove equals heat, heat equals burn, burn equals excruciating pain. It was a packet with a picture of a boxer dog on the front. The packet was full of dog biscuits. It was a large bucket filled with coal. Someone had once told me a piece of coal brought you luck. Who was I to argue with irrational superstition? It was the door which led to the docks on the other side of the fence.
What the hell do you think you're doing? Get the hell out of here.
Okay, just hold on to that dog. Hey, 20. Come and get it, boy. Hey, 20. Come and get it, boy.
I felt a slight twinge of conscience as I prepared to give the dog a dunking. It soon passed. As I'd expected, the dog could swim like a dog.
And what's the big idea of busting into my office?
I hope you don't mind, but
You stay out of here, you hear? Otherwise the dog gets an early breakfast.
I wouldn't want him to change his eating habits on my account. Besides, I have brittle bones. He might choke. What's the problem with the stove?
I don't know. Damn flue seems to be blocked.
Maybe some bird built a nest in the chimney.
Huh?
A gull, maybe, or an albatross.
Albatross my ass. That chimney's too hot. What's wrong with your hand?
In my hand? Oh, friction burns.
Friction burns?
Yeah, slid down a rope.
You don't want to make a habit of that, pal.
Do you recognize this metal cone?
Say, that's just like the Tin Man wore. You know, the Wizard of Oz.
I'd have never taken you for a fan of Dorothy and Toto.
That dumb kid? She ruined the whole damn thing for me, all that singing and stuff. Anyhow, she wasn't even a real kid. They stuffed her in a corset so her titties didn't show.
Let me in and I'll give you this lump of coal.
I got plenty of coal already. You always carry it around in your pocket?
I heard it was lucky.
Superstitious crap. I got a whole bucket of it in here and it ain't brought me no luck.
See you later.
Getting past the night watchman and his dog had been easy. Little did I know that I was soon to be pitted against truly terrifying adversaries. Ruthless drug barons from the present day and bloodthirsty Mayan gods from many centuries ago.